everyone. Thank you for taking our time to join us in our cybersecurity industry for Call for Innovation, Meet the End User session. So I'm Rayson, the program manager at I71, which stands for Innovation Cybersecurity Ecosystem at Block 71. So the region's first cybersecurity entrepreneur hub and NUS enterprise dedicated cybersecurity startup ecosystem builder. So the objective of this session is for you to ask the end users questions and get a better comprehension of the challenge statements and the requirements. So we hope that by the end of this session itself, you will have your questions answered and gain more clarity in crafting your proposal. So for any general questions regarding the call, such as a funding scheme and etc., please actually direct those questions to info@cybercall.sg. So to share about this session, how this session will work, so each end user will be given 10 minutes to take the floor. As participants, you may choose to type your questions via the chat box function to one of our co-hosts labeled as CyberCall Q&A, or specify the end users or the challenge statements you are addressing to, or either you can actually click on the raise hand feature to indicate your interest to speak. So please keep yourself on mute and kindly only unmute yourself when I cue you to do so. So we encourage you to raise your hand and ask your question directly to the end users. Okay, so I'm sure you have questions ready for the 3 end users today and can't wait to fire them away. So without further ado, please welcome our first end user, Mr. Pang Zeyu from MediaCorp. So he will be representing MediaCorp on challenge statement 1, is the end-to-end normalized threat-based cybersecurity risk management system. So let's listen to the brief introduction of his challenge statement. And in the meantime, for our participant, you can actually start typing your questions and raise your hand if you have any question to ask him later on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zeyu, and I'm the head of information security at MediaCorp. Our challenge focuses on an end-to-end normalized threat-based cybersecurity risk management system. Cybersecurity risk management is often disjointed. It needs to be integrated with enterprise risk management, and yet be specific for each business unit to be relatable. We need a threat-based approach. Current solutions that focus on a specific dimension of risk, like vulnerabilities, and integrated with threat intelligence are no longer adequate. Many companies rely on advisory services for risk assessment, as current platforms are highly manual. The platforms are not end-to-end and lack compliance to industry-specific regulations like CCOP 2.0. The use of advisory services is also not scalable, especially for companies with multiple business units. We want to develop an end-to-end platform that does threat-based cybersecurity risk management. The solution should address the following 5 areas. 1. A consolidated view across business units. 2. CCOP 2.0 compliance benchmarking or scoring. 3. Intelligent suggestions to reduce risk by re-engineering business process or adjusting controls. 4. Ability to ingest data from other tools and scan the network so as to derive a cyber digital twin to aid threat modeling and planning. 5. Features to allow asset owners to raise risk deviation or acceptance directly on the platform. You can view the remaining requirements in our full challenge statement. We look forward to receiving your innovative proposals. Thank you.
Okay, so when you are registering for this event, we did actually ask you if you have any questions to ask our end users. So here are some of the questions that we have received. So on requirement 7, Zeyu, hello, hi Zeyu.
Hi.
Hi. So on requirement 7 itself, right? That's the question is the ability to render the network based on collected data to aid planning. So can you clarify, is there a graphical representation of the network?
Okay, you're asking me whether or not the data that is collected, is there a graphical representation of the network? Or are you asking whether or not to render it in a graphical manner? Or what? I really don't, I can't really figure out what you're trying to ask. If the person who asked the question, it'll be easier. But let me just try if I get you right. Okay, typically, in a company, we will use various tools, right? You'll collect like a CMDB, you collect various aspects of your network, or your assets in your network. You'll have the like different host, like for instance OS you're using for this asset, or the software it used in them. And if we could then take the data that is from the CMDB, for example, or other places in the that's collecting the data, and then render this in the graphical manner, like a network diagram, for example. That will be very, very useful for risk assessment. It will be very, very useful for incident response, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so yeah, for these questions, actually, we got the question from Hackuity. Miss Lydia, are you around? Good. Hi, Miss Lydia. If you're around, would you mind to raise your hand and you
Yes,
can?
I am.
Yeah, hi. So I just want to check, is he answering your question?
Hello.
Yes, hi, Lydia.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Mm.
Okay, so actually is correct. Actually, the answer actually the question is more to check in terms of the ability to render network. I believe it's more like, are you expecting a graphical presentation of the information?
Yes. Okay, so because a lot of tools they collect, right? You have tables and things like that, but it's not good enough for risk assessment. It's not good enough for I mean the kind of threat modeling kind of risk assessment, and it's not good enough for, let's say, subsequently you want to do incident response and so on and so forth. Okay, there are some graphical representation in existing tools. Generally it's not there yet, I would say. I've seen a few, but it's very, very difficult for a person to understand what's going on in this, because it's just too, sometimes it's just too detailed. Then when you try to open it up, and then when you aggregate it, it's very, very difficult to it's that you lose too much information.
Okay.
That's one part of it, and what the graphical representation is just one part of it. But what is more important, right, is whether or not you can take this data that we have in the existing collected on existing tools, and then find a way to actually determine what do the modeling of threats, let's say from coming in from let's say from an external source, or certain internal asset, right, going to the rest of assets.
Okay, sorry. Let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, allow your requirement number 10, allow asset owners to raise risk deviation or acceptance directly in the dashboard. So what does it mean by to raise risk deviation or acceptance?
Okay, so we are looking at it like a platform, right? A whole platform whereby we do the risk assessment, risk evaluation and things like that. And at one point in time, when you do the assessment evaluation, you will come whether this is acceptable or not acceptable, okay? And then the system itself should help us have maybe a feature, say that, okay, at the end of the day, we've done all this, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then we're going to accept it, this either without doing anything, we're going to do something about it, or not. Okay.
Okay.
And I mean, this is a typical risk management process, right?
Yeah. Okay, understand. So the follow-up question on that, on the previous question is that acceptable if the dashboard or live report is only to consume the data, and we provide somewhere else in the product a feature to change the values?
I would think yes, it will be acceptable. I mean, if we have to, yeah, I think it will be acceptable to change the values. Yes, but it needs to be user. Okay, not say user lah. I mean, it needs to be friendly for a knob lah. in cyber knock. Okay, I think one of the problems is or at least it needs to be guided. It needs to help a person who is not especially cyber trained to be able to let's say, okay, if I'm going to put this control in there, or I'm going to the actual values at the back changes rather than you require the user itself to change the values artificially, I mean in the system. Okay.
Okay.
Because I think if you have to think about it, right? Like a company like ours, I mean we are relatively mid-sized, so we won't say we're very small, but it is really difficult to get well trained experts, cybersecurity experts in a company who knows this very, very well. Most of the time you get somebody who's very good and you train somebody, then they get soaked up by the government who are paying so much more for the same talent. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to live. A lot of companies have to live with maybe new entrant, not so experienced people.
Okay, not a problem. So okay, we have one more question. So right now there's a lot of like risk management product on the market itself. So what will make this solution stand out compared to the other solutions in the market?
Okay, what will make this solution stand out? Okay, so there are a lot of risk management solutions out there, but number one, most of the time, you need a consultant to help you with the product. Okay, so a lot of times you need a consultant to help you with product. If it's the type of risk management, they go through this thing. Okay, hopefully, because when you try to do the risk assessment, you need to map out your assets and then say that this is know where the threats are coming from and so on and so forth. If this the system can actually take the data that most companies will already have, well, because of you need to have a vulnerability management process and a CMDB or ITSM anyway. If you can build, you can build and support the planning of risk assessment, I think it will be very, very helpful for companies. Okay. Without trying to get basically you're trying to replace the consultant at the front end. Okay. I think that's number one, the first part. The second thing is about tagging. I mean, mentioned in the comments about tagging, or at least trying to make it what do you call that, effective, or you make it or you personalize, or you customize it such you will customize the reports to the business units. Okay. Normally, when you do a risk assessment, right, you end up trying to do a risk assessment at the enterprise level, because you just can't have the ability to do risk assessment specifically for different parts of your organization when you have a slightly bigger organization.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, you can customize basically after you've done that, you customize it to the respective business units. You will get a better buy-in with the units. Otherwise, we report becomes a problem where it's everyone's problem and nobody's problem, because it's an enterprise problem.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's just of the two of the many things that we want to achieve with this.
Can understand. Thank you, Terry. So I think we're running out of time right now. So for the audiences, please continue to ask your question in the chat function. Please direct your question to CyberCall Q&A, and then we'll come back to Terry again. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So all right. So moving up next, we will have the Home Team Science and Technology, Ms. Xieling. Home Team Science and Technology is also better known as the HTX, to answer all your queries for challenge statement number 7. So it's a privacy preserving digital forensics. So before we invite her up, so let's hear their challenge statements first.
Hi everyone, my name is Xieling and I'm an engineer in the Digital and Information Forensics Center of Expertise at HTX. Our challenge is on privacy preserving digital forensics. Digital forensics raises many challenges to the conventional notions of privacy because it involves a more considerably detailed search of digital data than is possible with other manual techniques. While moving to the cloud is a key solution to deal with the exponential increase in digital data, there is still much concern around it. As such, our challenge involves allowing the preservation of victim privacy while conducting digital forensic analytics on PII data and sensitive images or videos. The solution we are looking for should keep sensitive data and PII private, but allowing for keyword search and entity matching. Allow image or video analytics, such as AI/ML categorization, to execute properly on the privacy-preserved data. Provide an access control mechanism, which allows only authorized investigators to access and view private data and identified digital evidence. Preserve the chain of custody of digital evidence. Propose a privacy-preserving digital forensics framework that is suitable for the end user use case. And last but not least, support major cloud service providers for deployment. More requirements can be found in our challenge statement. We look forward to receiving your innovative proposals. Thank you.
All right. So let's welcome Michelle Ling. Hi, Michelle Ling.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. So here comes the first question. So can I better understand the details of the use case? For instance, what kind of data set, structured data, structured text, unstructured text, image, or video, and what kind of data source, for example, which database, which files, and streaming, and what kind of PII to mask in the image and video.
Okay, so for this, right, we are actually looking at both structured and unstructured data. So can be you can imagine any kind of files that you'll be able to find on a laptop or on a mobile phone. So it can be text files, images, DB files, yeah. And the source, these are all loose files inside the laptops that can be extracted, and also can be any files inside mobile phones. So it can be image files, any kind of format, JPEG, PNG, document files, Excel files. All these are all the different sources. It can also be in a zip container. Yeah. And yeah, so the kind of PII to mask in both images and videos, right? Mainly will be the explicit content that can be found in images and videos. And also, sometimes people take pictures of their NRICs or passports. So all these kind of details should also be able to be masked. Yeah.
I see. All right, understand. So moving on to the next question. So are these data in the cloud or part of the project scope involve migration of the data to the cloud?
Okay, so can assume that all these files will be new files that will be ingested directly to the cloud. So it will not involve any kind of migration to the cloud of existing data. Yeah.
Understand. So for this solution itself, it's actually looking towards the scanning of all these files on the CSP, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so for the following up question on that is that, does the solution has to fulfill all major CSP or cloud model? Right now there's a lot of CSP, and then there's the eastern side and the western side. Yeah. So are there any prioritization, or is there any main cloud model or CSP the solution must fulfill?
Actually, we have no preference on the CSP. So as long as your proposed solution is able to be deployed on any one of the major CSPs, we are fine with it. We are actually vendor agnostic to it.
Okay. So there's no preference like Azure or Google Cloud. So
correct.
Up to them to propose which one to start off with.
Yeah. The major
Okay.
CSP, Azure or AWS will work for us. Yeah.
Okay, understand. All right, for us, the next question is, are there any additional preferable features you would like to see which are not mentioned in the challenge statement?
I think our focus is mainly on the privacy preservation. So additional features, probably not. We are mainly looking at all the features that has already been stated in the challenge statement.
Okay, understand. So maybe I think one of the questions, my own question is like, is there any prioritization of the files type that you want the scanner to scan?
As in the file types, is it?
Like image file, videos, or text?
Yeah, I guess there's not really a prioritization, but text files is likely to be more straightforward, I would say. Yeah, but images and videos could be the more challenging ones that the solution can actually tackle.
Okay. All right. I think I saw one questions coming up. So the question is, can the solution use like open source API, such as like Microsoft Photo DNA, to identify sensitive images?
Yeah, it's possible as long as the analytics and the processing is able to work on when the PII has already been masked. Yeah.
Understand. Okay. All right, Shiling. So I think the last questions that I have right now on screen is the most important features and function for the solution that you're looking for.
Okay, so as our challenge statement says, is the privacy preserving part. So the most important one is still being able to preserve the victim's privacy. That's to mask all the PII data and yet still be able to perform the kind of analytics on it. So the investigator must still be able to do like keyword search on the masked data, and also things like AI, ML categorization, all this must still be able to be performed on the PII data. Yep.
Okay. So I have more follow-up questions on just now. That question is that, what are the PII concerned in the images?
The PII, I think we are looking at mainly the basic ones, such as the NRIC, date of birth, address. Yeah, for images will be like the explicit content, any obscene images that people maybe take nude photos or videos of themselves. Yeah.
Okay, understand. So the other question from Tellus is the keep sensitive data and PII private, but allowing for keyword search and entity matching. So please give some use case example of an investigator doing the keyword search and entity matching.
Okay. So for example, if the investigator is trying to search for a suspect named, for example, John. Yeah. So once he does a search across the evidence that has been extracted, he should be able to search for the word John, although it has already been preserved, as in the PII data has already been masked. So yeah, so for example, if you mask the NRIC of John, you should also be able to search for it even though it has been masked.
Okay. I saw one very interesting question. Perhaps you can answer this. So is the face of the person in the image considered as a PII since it's like identifiable?
I think face itself is not really a PII to us. Yeah, unless it's in combination with the NRIC and date of birth, probably, yeah. Unless the face is part of a obscene video or image, yeah, then that's considered PII. Yeah.
Okay. Well, looks like a lot of people are very interested with your challenge statement. So the next question I have for follow-up is that does HTS look for an end-to-end full solutions that can do all 8 requirements, or solutions that can target specific requirements can apply to? Okay, for this maybe I can answer a bit. So for our challenge statements, our requirement is for you to actually to fulfill all the 8 requirements. And then if you are unable to do so, you please specify what is causing you that are unable to fulfill all the requirements. Yeah, but then perhaps for HTX, for the 8 requirements, is then like the most important prioritization that you have?
The most important, I guess, is still the privacy preservation part on PII data, while still allowing the keyword search and the analytics to be done on it. Yeah, that's the most important part of it. Yeah.
Okay, understand. All right, so maybe, okay, thank you, Shirling. So I think there's some other questions, but we will keep it to the floor later on. So I'm sure you're looking forward to all their solution. Yeah, thank you, Shirling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, just let me check. Okay, I do have some more questions for MediaCorp. Perhaps, while we are waiting for SMRT to come on board, maybe Zeyi, can we have you back on screen?
So I haven't done my job well enough. More questions.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Hi. So here's a question that is the emphasis on ROSI or more of the vulnerability assessment part, as ROSI itself could encompass other risk parameters beyond vulnerabilities as well.
Sorry, what is ROSI? The
ROSI.
You only have to speak English rather than acronyms, because sometimes we might misunderstand each other when you shorten it to this.
Okay, can I have the user who asked this question to come on board? Looks like the user might have renamed himself, but I'll try.
Okay, so basically, it's what's the emphasis? Is it the vulnerability, the CVSS? Is it okay? That's okay. I think at the end of the day, right, we want to elevate the risk assessment to not only just look at the vulnerabilities per se, but at a whole system at large, whether or not how risky the threat is. Okay. How risky the threat is. Okay. I think personally I find that the focus on of specific vulnerabilities in your system is I think there's a bit of overemphasis of vulnerabilities in systems. I'm not saying that we shouldn't get rid of or remediate the vulnerabilities in those in the system as fast as possible, as prompt as possible. But I'm not sure in other companies, but in our company, MediaCorp, it is a very, very challenging thing to do for us because of the way our systems are being set up and the industry that we are in. Very often the vulnerabilities cannot be remediated. I mean, cannot be patched, remediated, even though there is a patch available. Because the applications that write on the operating systems, for example, might break, or the applications that dependent on this software might break when you do so, and you have to wait for quite some time for the software vendors to actually come up with a new application that or a new version of the application that will work with the upgrades.
Understand. Okay. So the next question on is, should the solution work on-prem or on a SaaS model? Then what stack compatibility are you looking for?
Actually, I personally would prefer everything to be on the cloud or SaaS model. Okay, rather on-prem lah. Okay. I think if it's on a SaaS model, the onus of securing the building the designing the system and building the system secure is on the vendor rather than me. Okay. But of course, we have to take care of the access control configurations to make sure that the data that we go to put in there is safe. Yeah. So that's my own preference. As long as you can take and read the components from or the data from our various parts of our systems, which I mean won't know what systems are suitable, and it's up to the vendor to or the companies here to maybe propose. Yeah, we should be able to find a way to bring the data out. Anyway, it's not as if this is going to be a very, very continuous process whereby you are reading data from our systems on a daily basis. I've seen many products that take the data from other products on maybe daily, quarterly, or weekly basis, and I think it's good enough for this kind of risk assessment system.
I see. So for this to work, okay, understand. Okay. So in this case, would you have is it possible for the solution providers to actually test out their system or their solutions on your environment?
I think we can test out the solutions on parts of our environment. I don't think we want to test out the
not in full scale lah.
Yeah, not in full scale lah. Because one of the challenges that we have, I mean, not challenges. For security, we actually isolate our crown jewels from the internet, so actually it's not really connected lah. It's going to be quite costly for us to find a way to punch the hole out and maintain this thing outside. Okay. I think only when we have a solution, a final solution, then we will probably do the last this.
Yeah, but at least they can try a portion of their solutions on your environment. Yeah,
I think it's not an issue. I think it's about basically getting a feed to you or from data sources to you, right? I think it's not an issue. What's going to come to worst in the initial part, but we can if you can provide the data requirements, then we can try and manually pull the data out for you.
Okay, understand. All right. Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Yeah. So unfortunately, SMRT has actually just gotten back to us that they are unable to make it this time due to unforeseen circumstances. So for the audiences, if you have any questions for SMRT, please email it in to us at info@cybercall.sg, and then we will have them to answer you through email. Okay. Yeah, I think I have just two more questions for Shirling. Hi, Shirling. Would you mind to help us out with these two questions?
Hello.
Yes. Hi. Just make it a quick one. So this question is, does HTX have any AI or ML categorization applications, or the project scope includes developing such software applications?
Yeah, the proposal should involve developing the AI ML capabilities. Yeah.
So in order for them to work on the AI and ML, so do you have any past data for them to train the model?
We can provide some test cases, but for training the model, it might be a bit difficult because due to the sensitivity of the case data. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. All right, I think we have answered all the questions on the floor. So we will proceed on to the last part. So we have come to the end of today's Meet the End User session. So I hope the audience, all of you, have actually found the session informative and helpful. And I do apologize again for SMRT behalf that they are unable to make it for this round. So anyway, we have two more Meet the End User sessions coming up. So it's on the 21st of September.
Grayson?
Sorry, yes, hi.
Hi, Piyush. Sorry, I had one question for her actually, right, which I probably missed in the chat. So can I go ahead with my question? It's a quick one.
Yes, sure, please.
Okay. So just to understand, right, for your particular use case, have you done any market research on current solutions out there? And did you see any gaps in addressing your use case? What the current solutions in the market were not able to address?
Sorry, this question is for
07 actually.
HTX. Perhaps maybe we can actually put you in a room later on and you can clarify this answer. Okay.
No worries.
So, yeah, because in view of the time. So once again, maybe we can walk through the whole of this. The next two sessions is on the 21st of September, as well as the third one is on the 29th of September. So once again, maybe we can walk you through how to download all the challenge statements, as well as to submit the proposals and visit our website on cybercall.sg. So you can actually view all the challenge statements on cybercall.sg challenge statements page. And then what you have to do is actually to submit your proposal, you just first have to download the proposal submission plan template, which comes in a PPT file format. And then solution providers will just have to complete the template and submit the form online. So do note that each proposal should only respond to one challenge statement, and all questions in the template must be completed. So remember to convert the slides to PDF before you submit to the submission portal, and the proposal files should not exceed 7 MB. Okay, so if you have other questions or you are unable to submit, please actually reach out to us at info@cybercall.sg. So finally, you can actually submit your completed proposals by clicking on the Apply Now button, which directs you to the online form for submission of proposal. So we are now ready to start our one-on-one sessions with the end user in the individual breakout rooms. So some of you have already been allocated time slots for each of these respective rooms. So please do wait here to be admitted into the room when it's your time. So for those of you who have actually not been allocated with any of the time slot, you may actually choose to stay here, and if time permits, we'll be able to admit you to the breakout room of your choice. But then because due to the high demand of the one-on-one session, we'd like you to keep your conversations within 8 minutes. Okay, so once again, remember to submit your proposals by 30th of November, and thank you, stay safe, and see you next time.